Hello again, welcome back. Thanks for showing all your likes and support over the last few days. I never thought I'd get any response to such a small channel. I've got quite a bit, picked up a few subscribers and made up with that. So quick updates. I need to stop saying and sound like I'm being interviewed. I'm Stephen Gerrard being interviewed. So this fish at the back, I've noticed, I don't know whether you can see, he's got an ulcer forming. I've noticed it a couple of days ago. I kept an eye on it. It's getting bigger today. It seems to have got quite a bit bigger. You can see the red round it. That says it's still inflamed to me. It says whatever's upsetting the skin's still upsetting it. So I've been out and bought some Myoxin, and I'm going to treat it with that. I might do a quick video on how to treat it, on how I treat it, so people got an idea of how I treat that. If you find that interesting, it'll only be a short video, because I don't dose the tank with it. I take the fish out and treat the affected area. So updates on the fish house. Oh, there's that dodgy. I've fitted a central air system around the shed. I'm very made up with it, if I'm honest. It worked first time, so I fitted that today. Got buttons. I've got piston down there, linear piston air pump. So I put everything together. Got the lights in now, as you can see. I think I had the lights in on the first video, and then I wanted to get the air system in. I keep pointing it at the lights. I don't know why. I know it's going to do that. So I want to get that fitted. Now that's fitted, all the building work's really finished now. Except I'm going to fit a drain. In this corner down here on the outside, I've dug a hole and tapped in. I think I explained this. I tapped into a rainwater gully. So it takes one rainwater gully from the house, and it's a 4-inch viscous clay. It takes it right underground in front of this door. So I've tapped into that. So I've got a drain here, and then what I was thinking of doing is I could put a drip system in. I've got a RODI system, reverse osmosis system, that I could repurpose. Just use the pre-filters. I could have 2 carbon and 1 heavy metal. We all love heavy metal, don't we? And I could use that, and then just use an irrigation system to just drip water into the tanks. There's no progress on this. It's still where it was. The water's still there. All this was, I had tools in here, and I've took a lot in to the house. I've got a utility room in the house that I can store in, so I've done that. The only thing I can't move is the lawnmower hedge trimmer, so I'm going to get a small shed for that. And then down here I could either put a 5-foot or a 4-foot by 2 by 18 tank. That's one thing I'm going to look at doing. As I say, all the building work's done now. It's just I need a good tidy up at the floor. I have these up off the floor usually, but not today, because I'm in the process of tidying the floor up. My fan, my heater I've turned it right down. It hasn't come on yet. The tanks are still holding at about 14 degrees. There's a nice motorbike. And the temperature in the room, I don't know whether you can see it. No, that's on 12. Anyway, so they're the updates. Oh, I've got some. I'm going to clean these tanks. As I say, now I've got all the building work done. There's loads of building materials I need to get rid of. All my drill bits and stuff. Listening to the strokes while I'm working. Got 2 drills, because the battery always runs out on that one. As I say, I'm using sponge. I turn it off for the video because it's extremely hot. Updates: I've got a plant, I've got Anubias, I've got some Java moss. I ordered it on the one I ordered. I thought I ordered the one on a plate. Turns out I didn't. Dropped it in the tank and the bubbles blew it everywhere. But it doesn't matter because I've got some driftwood. If you watch one of my old videos, I showed you how to repair wood as driftwood, or do it yourself driftwood, I think I called it. So I've got some wood. I've got it soaking in fresh water outside. It's sunk already, and then I can just pick any bits of Java moss that's knocking around, like and just I can use some super glue to glue it to the wood, and then because as I say, this tank, what I'm going to do is just use it mainly for growing plants out at the moment. Got the idea from the fish tanks, I think it was, that he has grow out tanks, so he buys plants and lets them grow out so they look nice when he sets up escape. So I like plants. I use them as part of my filtration system because it's a little secret that no one seems to talk about. It's the fact that plants, people say that plants reduce nitrates. Well, how they reduce nitrates is they absorb ammonia, or that's the preferred form of nitrogen's ammonia. So they like to absorb that, and obviously they compete with your beneficial bacteria for it. But your beneficial bacteria still get some ammonia. So I like to keep plants in the tank to help with that. Plus, goldfish will eat them. Do you know, I have no idea where I point this camera half the time. I just stand and look at things and waffle away, and then I realise I'm staring at the floor or the ceiling or something random. And I have loads of things I want to talk about, and as soon as I press record, I completely forget what I was going to talk about. So what I wanted to talk about today was feeding. So what I like to feed a stable of pellets. At the moment, I'm feeding these bad boys, Saki Hakari, I think it's pronounced. I feed them, the stable, once a day, and then I like to feed like live food and veg. But I've been doing it. I read the thing that Star Fisheries was saying that you shouldn't, or he doesn't believe in feeding vegetables that humans eat, because it's not something that the fish would find in the wild. So he recommends duckweed, and I've been growing excuse me, duckweed out in the tank. I put about this much in to here, and it all gone within a couple of days. The goldfish in the mode through it because they absolutely love it. So I need to get this done. I need to get more duckweed grown out. So I want to try and start feeding duckweed a few times a week, and I also feed frozen brine shrimp with garlic. People say that garlic's good for their immune system, but the research I've done, that garlic gives them an appetite, so they eat, and fish that are eating tend to get better from things. So I like to feed them because it gives them an appetite. I also feed bloodworm. That's because every fish seems to bloody love bloodworm. I bought a couple of packets of Daphnia. I put them in the tank, and I haven't seen one Daphnia since. But that's okay. Sometimes what you find is you'll put Daphnia in, and the Daphnia you put in a tank die off, but they tend to hold eggs, and then eventually them eggs tend to hatch, and then you'll get a little, whatever you call it, of Daphnia, a little colony of Daphnia. I'd done an experiment a couple of years ago where what I did was I got a plastic tub from Asda, and I put water in it, a couple of packets of Daphnia. There was some soil in the bottom, and I also put some snails shells in there. What else did I put in there? I can't remember, but there was something to let calcium out, and then there was soil. I put salvinia on the top. Salvinia spread like crazy, so I did that, and within a summer I had a massive culture of Daphnia, so it's something I want to get into again. I'd like to get into growing out some duckweed so I can feed a couple of teaspoons every other day maybe, and then I will alternate between, at the moment, brine shrimp and bloodworm, because every fish seems to bloody love bloodworm. So that's what I tend to feed. I'll tend to do once a day. I'll do in the morning pellets every morning or afternoon, and then in the evening, the second feeding, I usually feed either vegetables or either bloodworm or brine shrimp, like I said. But you can buy other frozen food. I like to feed frozen food because they're usually radiated, so any parasites or anything in the bloodworms or Daphnia or mysis, anything that's in them has been irradiated, so it's dead, and plus it's been frozen. So, you know, there's two types of things that would potentially kill anything that could be harmful to the fish. So that's why I use frozen, and then that's really my regime. I'll tend to feed for 3 days and then usually give them a rest day, and then I'll feed them again for 3 days, and I just keep that cycle going. Usually they'll have a nibble on this, but I haven't noticed these fish eating it. The last Arandas I had, if you go back on my video, seem to mow through this stuff, but these haven't. So it's getting bigger and bigger, which is good for water quality, I suppose. So there's my update. There's a quick talk on what I like to feed my goldfish. I will probably do more in-depth video on it sometime in the future, but for now I just thought I'd like to share what I feed my fish. And if you feed anything different, let me know in the comments, because I'm interested in what other people are doing. I don't want this to be a one-way street where I'm preaching to people. The reason why I set up the account, as I've said in previous videos, is to interact with other goldfish keepers. You know, I've got quite a bit of experience. I think I've said this on another video, I've kept goldfish for about 25 years. I think I've got 1994 or 5 was the first time I kept goldfish, and I've kept them periodically on and off since. But mostly I've kept them. I've had reef tanks, I've had discus, cichlids, up to frontosa, planted tanks, and you know, I've got a vast array of experience. And what I tend to do is, if I learn something from one side of the hobby that people aren't doing in another, I'll adapt it over to a different side of the hobby. Like in saltwater tanks, they use a lot of refugium to remove nitrates and phosphates from the water, and it's something we should do in freshwater. And in the next video, I'm thinking about talking about how I like to filter my tanks and my philosophy or theory behind why I do what I do. Anyway, this video is getting quite long, so thanks if you've stuck around to watch the end. And if you haven't already, please like or comment on the videos. I want as much feedback as I can off people, and hope to see you soon. Thanks very much for watching.